What's up there, seniors? Hey, we're trying something new. Check it out. I actually have a microphone hooked up to my computer now, so might get a little bit better quality audio. Of course, still using the same old crappy webcam that's hooked up to my computer, so just got to kind of go with it. So, Beowulf. Introduction and sections 1 through 5. I know that some of you have been having difficulty with some of those, and you can probably hear my phone going crazy over here. It takes me a while to get through some of this stuff, guys, just because of the simple fact that I'm busy. I got a lot of stuff going on right now. I've got school board members that are contacting me, want me to get into meetings. We're planning our virtual graduation. So, lots of stuff going on right now, guys. I am trying to stay on top of it as best I can, but it's a challenge. It's a real challenge. So, here we go. Look at this. I left my copy at school, so I got to print out a new copy for myself as well. I always print stuff. I prefer to doodle on things and underline. I annotate quite frequently, so printed copies are always better for me. Feel free to print one off if you want to. If not, you can always annotate on the online copy as well, I believe, especially if you save it as a Word document. All right, so Beowulf is tough. It's not the easiest read in the world. I will tell you, it's a text that is actually used on the AP English Lit exam. I had a student come back to me a couple of years ago and tell me that she took the AP exam just because she wanted to see if she could get credit for it. And the only text that was on the AP exam that she had read was this. So I know it's not easy, guys. And so I want to commend you for taking on the challenge. The introduction is on page 2. And the introduction gives us a little bit of family background. Now, the Beowulf that's mentioned in this section is not our Beowulf. He's actually Hrothgar's ancestor. So this is all about Hrothgar's lineage. He's the king of the Danes. He's the one who's having the problem with Grendel. And so the introduction gives us Hrothgar's lineage. That's very important in Old English tradition, in the Germanic tradition. Noble lineage is very important. So that information is given here. Let's see. Section 1 talks about who Hrothgar is. Again, more of his lineage in the first and second paragraph on section 1 on page 3. And then how he builds Heorot and who Grendel is, where Grendel comes from. Section 2 then says what Grendel does. Grendel is woken up by all of the noise of the men celebrating in Heorot, and so he can't stand the noise. So he comes charging in to Hrothgar's mead hall, kills 30 of his men, and carries them off. The second night, he kills even more, and this now goes on, and then the men decide instead of staying in Heorot, they're going to go somewhere else. Even Hrothgar himself. He's like, I ain't sticking around, deuces, I'm gone. So Grendel takes over Heorot. He doesn't want to sit in what's called, on page 5, it's called the gift stool. That is an epithet describing the chief's chair, describing the Hrothgar's throne. Grendel doesn't want the throne, he just wants the noise to stop. So he kills all these men, he kicks everybody out of Heorot, he takes the place over, and Hrothgar lives like this for 12 years. And then section 3. Then we get this mention of this and Grendel's deeds. The Thane of Helac, of goodly fame among the Geats, heard tell when from home. That Thane of Helac, that's our Beowulf. That's the guy who we are reading this story about. Now, something I want to point out here. Now, on that page 5, where it says, the Thane of Helac, you see there, there's that number that I've circled on the page right there. That is a footnote. Now, if you take that and you go all the way to the back of the text, footnotes start on page 64. You find the number that matches up in the footnotes. Hey, look. Footnote number 10 right there. See? Footnote number 10. Beowulf the Geat, hero of our poems. That's the guy who all this stuff is about. So, read those footnotes. It's going to help you understand each section of the text more. So, section 3, Beowulf. He hears about the problem with Grendel. He gets everything together, gathers up 15 men, they load up all their war gear, they hop on board this ship, and they're sailing across the channel, heading for the land of the Danes. And they land on the shore, and on page 6, one of the thanes of Hrothgar is guarding the coastline. He sees these guys land. They're unloading all this war gear. He's like, whoa, hey, is somebody invading our country? Is this like a scouting party? And so he rides up to them all by himself, says, listen, it's my job to protect the shoreline. I want to know who you are and what you're doing here. That's the end of section 3. He says, hear ye now, ye seafaring ones dwelling afar, my plain thought. It is best most quickly to make known whence ye come. Who are you? What are you doing here? Section 4. Beowulf steps up, says, we are Higelac's hearth companions. We are of the kin of the Geat folk. My father is Ecgtheow. My name is Beowulf. We are a friend of your king Hrothgar, and we would like to go see him. The Thane's like, Gucci, let's go. I will lead you where you need to go. They go into the city of Hrothgar, into his capital, and it's this beautiful city. And he goes up to Hrothgar and says, actually, he stops, in section 4, ends on page 8. And he stops and says, this is as far as I can take you. I got to go back and guard the coast. Oh, hey, I'll make sure nobody takes your ship while you're here, too. So he takes off. And then somebody else comes up to Beowulf and says, hey, my name's Wulfgar. I'm one of the Thanes, and you need to. I want to know who you are and what you're doing here. Beowulf says, I'm Beowulf. I'd like to talk to your king if I can. And Wulfgar says, cool. Let me go up to the king and introduce you, and we'll see what he has to say. He says to the king, hither have fared over the ocean stretches, come from afar, men of the Geats. The warrior's name, the foremost man among them, Beowulf. They pray, my lord, that they may exchange speech with thee. Make thou not denial, O Hrothgar, to gladden them with thy converse. They seem from their war gear worthy of the respect of the earls. The leader, at least, who hath led these warmen hither, is surely goodly. So, sections 1 through 5. Introduce the conflict, introduce the setting, introduce the main characters, and Beowulf makes his way to the kingdom of Hrothgar to see what he can do. Keep up on your reading, guys. Make sure you're answering questions, and we will look at this summary for sections 6 through 10 in my next video.